Let's get real for a second. If you're working a minimum wage job and you're dreaming about making six or even seven figures, the truth is this: you're never going to get there by following someone else's rules. I know it sounds very harsh, but think about it. Every day that you clock into work, you answer to a manager, you follow their schedule, you do what they tell you to do. And that's safe, that's easy, but it's also capped. There's only so much you can earn, there's only so much freedom you'll ever have. And the real way to break out, the only real, fast, true, and proven way to create financial freedom is by taking a risk on yourself, starting a business, owning your own hustle, being in the driver's seat of your life. When I first started my own business, I was terrified. In the beginning, this was in high school, I had a minimum wage job at Kohl's. I had a very low paycheck coming in. I think I was making like $8.25 an hour. But I started a side hustle of reselling things online. And suddenly that idea of quitting or starting something from scratch seemed insane because the side hustle wasn't making any crazy money. In my first year, my online business did $20,000 in revenue, which again, not life-changing money, but for a high schooler, not bad. But I realized something that if I continued down this route of just having a job, it's keeping me comfortable, but it's also keeping me broke. So you have to decide, do I want to stay comfortable? If I do, I'm most likely going to be broke. So what did I do? I doubled down on the side hustle. I continued growing that out. And eventually the side hustle was making more than I was making at that minimum wage job at Kohl's. And so I quit. And I went all in. I never looked back. The second year I did $120,000 in sales. I 6X the business. The following year, we added a couple extra $100,000, and I'm at the point right now where I'm making over $1 million a year every single year. It's a seven-figure operation now. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying that starting your own business isn't easy. It's scary, it's unpredictable, and very stressful, but it is the only way to scale your income beyond what a manager or company allows. Because I'll tell you right now, having my own multi-million dollar company, if I want a regular job right now, nobody's going to pay me $200,000 a year. Absolutely not. They'll say, hey, you're 23, you have a basic college degree, you don't have any professional working experience. Let's start you at like 70, 80K. I make more in a month than what these companies would pay me in a year. And I'm just trying to basically illustrate the point that if you follow the rules that the system has created, you are never going to have a life of freedom. Okay. Ultimately, though, what I did do, which I think a lot of people need to do as well, is you need to start small. When I started, I didn't have millions to invest. I didn't have any connections. I just had a skill. I had a little bit of money, but most importantly, I had a willingness to try. I made mistakes. I failed all the time. But every time I said yes to myself instead of the safe route, I did get a one step closer to financial freedom. And that is the mindset that separates people who stay in the 9 to 5 grind from the people who actually make 6 or 7 figures. Okay. You have to be willing to take calculated risks. You have to be willing to put yourself out there, and you have to bet on yourself when no one else is. And again, here's another harsh truth that you're not prepared to hear is that your manager doesn't care about your growth. Your boss doesn't care about your growth. Your company doesn't care if you get rich. That's not personal. It's just business. If you want financial freedom, you can't rely on other people to give it to you. You have to create it yourself. And again, I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow. Start smart. Build a side hustle first, test ideas, learn skills, sell something, anything. Just do something, Start putting yourself in a position where your income isn't capped by someone else's schedule or limits, aka your boss in a 9 to 5. I want you to understand something crucial is that freedom isn't handed to people, okay? Wealth isn't handed to people. It comes from being uncomfortable, taking risks, failing, learning, but most importantly, staying persistent. Every time that you choose comfort over growth, you're trading your future for a temporary sense of security. So again, how do I go from minimum wage to 6 or 7 figures? The most important thing is you need to stop following the safe path. Clocking in, doing exactly what your boss tells you, that's not going to get you there. We all know it. Number two, invest in yourself, skills, knowledge, tools, anything, whatever gives you the ability to create value for others. The reason why I get paid as much as I do is because that's how much value I am bringing in. Okay. And that's all it comes down to. Number three is to start building. Start with a side hustle. If you have a full-time job, if you don't, you need to start off small because you need to have that proof of concept. That is the most important thing. It could be content creation. It could be opening up a business, just whatever allows you to scale your income. Number four, this is one that a lot of people aren't ready to hear, is be willing to fail. Because you think you're going to become a success really fast. It's not going to happen. Okay. It took me 8 years to get into running $1 million business. And, I'm super fortunate and blessed right now because I'm 23 years old and I have $1 million business, but it still took 8 years. So it doesn't matter that I started early. That was just me being smart. Ultimately, though, every failure is going to get you closer because you don't learn anything from the wins. You learn most from the failures. And that is my mentality and mindset to this day is I don't lose in life. I either win or it's a lesson, and that's all it is. And if you adopt that same mentality, I promise you, anything's possible. And the last step is just to take full control of your life, self-accountability, self-responsibility. You are the driver, your income, your freedom, your happiness. That's on you. Stop blaming it on other people. It's no one else's fault except your own. Do not blame it on anyone else. Where you are in your life right now is all because of you. Are you out of shape? That's your fault. Are you poor? That's your fault. The minute that you start making that flip in mentality and you stop blaming people or the economy or society or who the president is, none of that stuff matters. Everything that happened in your life is you. Okay? Make that mentality, make that shift. That is how you get into the 6 to 7 figure capacity earning going for minimum wage. I hope you guys took something from this video. There's a lot of gems in this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, comment, let me know what you guys think. Love connecting with the viewers. And with that, we will catch you guys on the next one.